I'm going to make this video and talk about the whole grieving process. Um, I never really thought that it would hit me so hard to have my mother pass away. I mean, look, man, I've had family members pass away before, and some people might say, well, your mother is different. She's unique. I did not realize it would hit me as hard as it did. You want to talk about a gut punch? Man, oh man, it truly is even difficult, realizing that I walk on this planet and she's not on the same physical plane with me. That is a weird feeling, man, truly. And I think this is the first time that I've ever, hey, what's up, XRW? Welcome, welcome. Just talking about the grieving process. And, I recently had a family member pass away, my mother, and I'm just talking about that whole thing. Whew, man. But, I never really, I didn't think that it would hit me as hard as it did. I think she's the only one out of all my family members. Not like I had a whole bunch of them, but, as you grow up, you realize people, pass away. Oh, it's you, Raining. Hey, it is good to see you. I'm happy to see you. I must say that. You truly are a ray of sunshine. I will say that. But yeah, man, like I said, just, I think that my mother passing away was the one time when I actually had this strange thought of not the whole idea of checking out by my own hands, but I kind of wrapped my mind around the idea of just not being here, which is kind of deep, to be perfectly honest. It's like not wanting to go on without somebody. I appreciate that, Randy. I truly do. Because trust me, I need all the prayer that I can get. It's definitely been difficult because it's like I've never been, I've never lost somebody and was always at the point of tears no matter what I was talking about. You know, when my mother passed away, it's like it had that effect on me. I mean, it's like I couldn't even talk to strangers about anything. I mean, I could be talking about the weather and be ready to cry because she's always at the front of my mind. You know, that's a very difficult thing to realize. Yeah, like it's. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I can check my email. I didn't realize you sent as far as the email. Yeah, I gotta check my email. Because we had to get a whole bunch of stuff in order. It's just, but yeah, man, like I never thought that I would lose somebody and just be like, hey, you know something? I'm kind of cool on moving forward. I can see myself checking up out of here. And that's kind of deep when you think about it. I mean, when you love somebody that much to where, you don't see yourself continuing to live life because they're not around, yeah, that's heavy. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, man. Like, I truly did pray for her well being, but my mother, she was 76 years old and she was dealing with some serious health issues. I'm talking like from diabetes, possibly liver, kidney issues. I mean, liver as it pertains to being in that hospital and being heavily medicated. I mean, she was dealing with sepsis. She had the whole, hydration stuff because of all this stuff stemming from diabetes and the whole stuff when she got her that C-section done. And when you look back as far as history, they tell you that they gave black women C sections and they didn't need to get C sections. So that kind of stuff pissed me off because it makes me think, was my mother one of those situations to where she didn't have to get a C section? I'm not sure, but bottom line is between the gastric bypass, which no one should ever get, do not get a gastric bypass. That is a crazy procedure for them to even allow. Because number one, you can't absorb the nutrients from the food that you eat. Because it's like they cut your stomach. They don't cut your stomach in half, but what they do is they kind of make it smaller. Like it's some weird rewiring that they do when it comes to your digestive system. Do not let them play games when it comes to your digestive system, because that's what the heck they did when it came to my mother and all that gastric bypass stuff. People pass away from that. My mother now being one of those people, simply because she wasn't getting the nutrients that she needed. A lot of this stuff could have been prevented, man. But she was 76 years old, so what can you say? When you're 76 years old, it's like you've lived a full life. But I mean, if I could have kept her around and to have kept her around in the hundreds and me be older, one of those cases, I would have. But maybe that's just me being selfish and unrealistic. But I just did not want to. I didn't want to let go. You know, I was like, God, let this cut pass from me. I'm sitting there trying to cut all kind of deals. I mean, it was hitting me so hard. I was losing weight, man. I'm talking about just not eating. You know, and I have to reshuffle the deck. I have to reshuffle the deck and think about you know how to move forward. You know, it is so weird moving forward without somebody who basically you've been a caretaker to for so long. That's the thing. I've been my mother's caretaker, and I'm going to be honest with you. It definitely does take a certain type of person to be a caretaker. It will suck the life out of you, you know, to be a caretaker. I mean, every second of every day. I mean, god dang. I said I don't think it'd be easy, no matter how much more time we could have had with them. Yeah, that's like the catch 22. That's the catch 22. It's like no matter how much time I had with my mother, I don't think, it would have ever been enough time. You know, I don't think it would have ever been enough time because, when you care about somebody, you don't want to ever let them go. And she was just one of those cases. And, it's a bridge we all have to cross. I would much rather, her cross it than me because I don't think she could have lived without me. I'm gonna be honest, man, because I was just way too much of a beneficial person, meaning that I looked after her so heavily that I don't think any other family member could have done that. So, plus my sister passed, and last thing she needs is me passing and her being around. So I'm happy that I definitely seen her to her, what I'm saying, final days. But, I've went to the whole celebration of life thing. That was what it was. I mean, because I wasn't doing a funeral. One thing I'm not gonna do is a goddamn funeral. Where they sit up there and sing "Amazing Grace," how sweet. And I'm sitting there crying my eyes out. I do not like that crying ritual stuff. Yeah, you lost. Yeah, I lost my sister. My sister then passed away. She passed away in her 40s. Um, my older sister. I didn't see it coming. But you know something? Here's the funny thing. When you get older, and I mean, people don't take it seriously until it happens, but you begin to realize you have to take your health seriously because your health begins to steadily, come apart. Like I just found out I have periodontal disease, whatever, as far as my gums go. And I didn't know for the longest. Now whenever I eat, I like rinse my mouth out, mouthwash. Like, let me tell you something. I don't Plaque does not see my teeth at all because it's something that can be managed. But you're no longer invincible as you once were when you were younger. And periodontal basically it's just like your gums receding. Like your gums once your gums recede, it's like they don't go back to where they were. That's what that is. Gingivitis is like the first steps. It's almost like being pre-diabetic. Gingivitis, quote unquote pre-diabetes, full diabetic, periodontal, to where now plaque touches further parts to your teeth that can go down to your roots and even down to your jawbone to where it dissolves all that stuff. But truth be told, I think it came from me grinding my not grinding my teeth, but clenching my teeth. I mean, the human body is a dang Rubik's cube, man. See, was it just you two? Oh no, here's the thing. I have three other sisters. Hmm. Three other sisters. I'm the baby of the family. Yeah, three other older sisters. And I mean, so I am happy that I still have family, but I will say it does make me think about, what I'm saying, life because here's the thing. I've never really truly lived life. I've lived like an incel. I've lived like a hermit. I've never really enjoyed living my life. And now that I really don't have anybody to look after since my mother passed away, not to say that it was a situation to where it's like throw mother from the train to where I'm just, I can't live without words, or it's not like a situation of quote unquote living with your mom because I moved over here, because I wanted to keep her safe. Like the house where I was living is on the other side of town. Over here is where I came simply because, I found her, she was on the couch. She wasn't feeling too well, and I had to call the paramedics. That's when I moved over here. And I've been with her for, dang, it's been a long time. I'm trying to think. It was like, what I'm saying, it possibly was like longer than 10 years. Yeah, it kind of goes a ways back. It kind of goes a ways. In fact, one second, I'm trying to think. I think it goes back to when Obama was president. I'm not sure. Only thing I know is it goes a long ways back, but I was taking care of her the entire time. And, I mean, what can you say? One thing I don't want to do, like, I would never choose a profession as a caretaker ever. Ever in my life would I ever choose a profession as a caretaker because that stuff, man, let me tell you something. It sucks the life out of you being a caretaker. Like it's there's definitely nothing to play with. Um, and when you're looking after your family because they can't, tend to themselves, that's like the hand you're dealt. That's like that's something you have to do. You can't just leave your family high and dry. I have a hard time separating myself from my dogs, so I dang sure ain't about to leave my family behind. But here's the funny thing. If I could find a decent home for my dogs, I would. I would give them all up all of today. But, I just don't want to give them away to any place or family that would sit up there and abuse these dogs. So I sit there and cling to them simply because I don't want to see them to a situation to where something would happen to them. So it's that type stuff, man. I'm telling you, man. Sometimes I feel like I set myself up. Um, what's so funny? I was online and I got the shock of my life, man. You ever just idolize a person and then you see another side to them, and then it just completely throws you off? That's what happened to me today. I'm like, God dang, man. I had my hopes high in the sky. It crashed to the ground like a meteorite. I was like, shoot. I mean, I suspected as such with such a character. I mean, I know I'm speaking vague, but I'm not trying to sound like a whole weirdo. But when I, discovered the truth about a certain someone, I was like, "Are you serious?" Oh man, that was like, okay, let's stop believing in decency moving forward. Moving forward, we're gonna just start, going off what we see, and we're gonna hope we're gonna expect the worst and prepare. Or what was it? We're gonna hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So I'm completely jaded. I'm completely thrown off. I've lost my sense of direction. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. My what you call it? My compass is broken and I'm out to sea. Why, man? Why? Shoot. I had my hopes up to the heavens, man, and now it just went crashing down. And I'm just with egg on my face. Shoot. I mean, you ever just expect more out of a person because you thought they were more than what they were? That's where I'm at with it, man. Like as if losing a family member wasn't enough. It's like, nah, we ain't done with you yet, man. You got to grieve 2 times as much. Here, let me hit you with this reality. You just activated my trap card. Double grief. This is where you get disappointed on top of your disappointment. Like, god dang, man. Like it really does make me just think like what am I supposed to believe in anymore? What am I supposed to do with myself, man? What am I supposed to do? You know, just facing reality and disappointment, and it's like what's sacred nowadays? Well, God remains sacred. He's the only solid foundation. I am happy as far as that. You know, I will say that God is truly the only thing that remains the same and stable. Build your house upon a rock. That way, you never have to worry about stuff shifting around you because that's what kind of did me in. You know, shoot. And you know what's so funny? When all this stuff was happening, I contacted this one person who was my youth pastor when I was younger, and he's a solid guy. But he basically was telling me reality when it came to the situation as it pertains to my mother. He's like, "Look, man, this is the situation is that she's lived her life. And the thing is that you don't want to make your mother your God. You don't want your grief to become your God. You have to, put God first when it comes to these situations." And to me, that kind of sounded strange because it's like, dude, I'm grieving what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to lose my mom. I'm about to, step across a bridge that, is very, like, it's like the Truman Show. You're scared to go over the bridge because it's over a body of water and you're afraid to drown. Like I'm about to take a step into the abyss, a situation I've never known before, and you're telling me that for me to sit up there and grieve my mother, or I guess feel very strong when it comes to my mother. That's to make her my God, this and that. And to be perfectly honest, he kind of sounded like that book of Job. Like he sounded like Job's friends to me, reprimanding me about something that I felt like he should have showed more sympathy about. Not to say that he didn't, but I see where he was coming from after she passed away. Because like I said, man, when she was gone, I truly did wrap my mind around the idea of just not being here anymore. It was it was a gut punch, you know. And stuff like that, you do make your whoever that is your God, because if you can't go on anymore, if you just give up, then basically, you've made them your end all be all. And since they're gone, why are you still around? And I didn't even understand what he was saying when he said it. but he lost his mother, I believe. So I'm sure he would understand where it was all going. Man, I'm just, what can I say? On top of that, like I said, man, gut punch. Like I found out something today that really just it sent me. Like it really shook me to the point to where I was like, man, I can't trust in anything or anyone. Like I can't suppose like I can't like it made me feel like I can't hope for the best, you know? Yeah, like it really did put me in a psychological corner to where it made me think, you know what, man, you've been down this road so many times. Why the hell are you sitting around there being lackadaisical and easygoing and jovial when it comes to how things truly play out? And, it just it makes me feel as though I need to develop a hobby. Like I need to, what I'm saying, fall back on being a strong person, I guess, because I think it'll be a healthy hobby, me just constantly working out, me constantly strengthening myself from the standpoint of my knowledge and wherewithal and know how. I think that will benefit me, you know, for me to make that a constant. It's just something to preoccupy my mind because, just to be met with grief and then to be met with disappointment, it's like, come on, dude. It's like when it rains, it pours. But that's all I'm gonna say when it comes to this. But I will say I'm very happy, Ranning, that you know what I'm saying, stopped by. I truly am. And I'm gonna check my email for your number. I didn't know you sent your number. I checked the email before. I didn't know if you responded or not. But it was nice talking to you, Randy. I'll catch you later.